C++ inheritance. Inheritance is a method of forming a new class from a previously defined class. The new derived class inherits all the attributes of the parent class. Assume we have a class named parent with public members parent, the default constructor, and add numbers, a function that calculates two numbers and returns the sum of the two numbers. The class also has one private member that stores an integer value. Let's instantiate an object from the class parent. We'll call the object sample1. Notice that the method addNumbers is a function that returns an integer value. Therefore, we must provide a variable to store that value. We'll call the variable C and provide it an int data type. Now, let's assign the value returned from addNumbers to C. Remember, to access a member of a class, you use the following syntax. You begin with the object name, followed by the .access operator, and then the class function or class method name. What is the value of C? The value of C is the value returned from the class function addNumbers. The value returned from the class function addNumbers is B. The value of B is the sum of 10 plus A. A was initialized in our default constructor with a value of 5. Therefore, the value of C is 15. Now, let's create a subclass that inherits the attributes of the parent class. Let's call this subclass Child. Inherited classes have the following syntax. They begin with the class keyword. Followed by the subclass name. And then a colon. The colon gives the child subclass access to the parent class. Next is the access specifier. This access specifier indicates how public members of the parent class will be treated in the subclass. The public access keyword in our subclass indicates that all public members of the class parent will be treated as public member functions of the class child. Remember that private class members can only be accessed by members of the same class. After the access specifier is the parent class name, followed by the class body. Now, we need to declare the members of the subclass. Let's declare 2 public members and 1 private member. Our public members will be the default constructor and a class function named multiply that returns an integer value. Our private member will be named z and will be given an int data type. The default constructor will be used to initialize the private member z. Here, z is initialized with a value of 25. Let's define the multiply function to return the product of z and the results of the function add numbers. First, we have the class function data return type. Followed by the class access operator. Then the class name, and the class member function name. This statement assigns the value of z times the value returned from the parent class function add numbers to product. Z is a private member of the child class whose value is 25, which was defined by the class default constructor. The asterisk is the standard multiplication symbol in C++. All public members of the parent class are treated as public members of the child class. Therefore, the child class can use add numbers directly in its programming. If we instantiate an object from the child class, what will be the results of the class function multiply? Here we've instantiated the object called sample from our child class. The instantiated object calls into action the child class default constructor, which assigns the value of 25 to z. We have also declared a variable named answer with an int data type. This is the variable that will store the return value of our class function multiply. This statement assigns the value returned from the class function multiply to the variable answer. Now, let's determine what the value of product would be. Z is assigned the value 25 by the default constructor. The class function addNumbers returns the value of b, which is 15. Therefore, product is assigned the value of 25 times 15, or 375. So, the results of the class function multiply is 375. This concludes our section on inheritance. If you would like to learn more about how all these things come together to form simple games, simply click on the link provided in the description bar that will take you to the Crash Course website. Thanks for watching.